seems pretty curious about the Christian faith. Okay, so Joe, Christian James, you wanna provide the sound argument?
Yeah,
Well, that's not really the title, is it?
God is real.
Um,
Usually, when you say something is real, you usually have an argument in support of that proposition.
What's the second part of it?
Prove me wrong. Oh, okay, yeah, sir. Sir, if you want to like argue that, I'm also down to argue that. What type of theism do you hold to?
I'm a Catholic.
Yeah, we can just run like some Bayesian account of the POE if you want.
Why should I accept your Bayesian priors? Are you an objectivist or a subjectivist on Bayesian priors?
I mainly hold to subjectivist priors.
Okay, so why should I believe your subjectively drawn priors?
Because it's actually a pretty good question. It's
Because I'm very
fine.
familiar with Bayes, and I've talked with a lot of Bayesian epistemologists, especially people who are Christian, who are sort of Bayes devotees, if you will. So I've never gotten a good answer to this question. So I'm actually curious, why should I take any of your priors as good epistemic indicators of what is true
Yeah,
inductively? And
because
furthermore, what's the argument for that?
because usually when we're subjectivist about like priors, you would probably have the same priors. At least I would think. I think you would have the same priors when it comes to like. There's probably like if we have like let's say you come home and like your window's broken, you probably think that there's going to be like some naturalistic explanation for it, right? Because naturalism is going to be more within our priors, right? So I would just say like, I'm not saying that you necessarily have to hold to my priors. I'm just saying it probably is the case that you have similar priors to me.
So let's just say, and again, I'm not a Bayesian, so I wouldn't reason like this. I don't actually necessarily agree with many of the precepts of Bayesian epistemology, but let's just say that I do for the sake of argument. What exactly would be, where exactly is that a justification for your priors by saying that I agree with you? Couldn't it be the case that we both agree and are simply wrong?
Yeah, it's completely possible, right? It's completely possible, sure. But I'm
Yeah,
not sure
so
what it
so I guess
means.
I didn't ask you to ask me if I agree with you. I asked you what the epistemic justification is for the priors.
Okay, yeah, okay. We don't have to run the Bayesian POE. We can run something else. Do you agree with
I mean,
Hume's
that's like
maximum
it's
conceivability?
like a track star there.
Well,
That
hold
didn't
up.
last very
Well, hold
long.
up.
What do you want to talk about?
Okay, don't try to get rhetorical because last time you tried debating me, you got done so bad you had to leave. Anyway, so do you agree with Hume's maximum of conceivability? Do you agree with Hume's maximum conceivability?
Explain it to me.
Yeah, all which is conceivable is metaphysically possible. I'm surprised you
All which
study
is
philosophy in
conceivable
school
is
and you don't know
metaphysically
something. Yeah, I'm surprised you
impossible,
study thing in school and like
or
you don't know
metaphysically
basic stuff. But yeah,
possible.
it's fine. Yeah,
All
all
that
which
is
is
conceivable.
conceivable.
What do you mean by conceivable here? How do I conceive of something?
Yeah, maybe if you have the ability to like think about it, or like, yeah, literally just have the ability to think about it. Like you can say, you can't think of like a square circle, right? But you can conceive of like a pea zombie,
Okay.
right? You can think of like a pea zombie, something which doesn't have like a qualia, but it still looks like it has a qualitative experience. Therefore, it'd be like metaphysically possible.
So I can know if something is conceivable if it doesn't have any contradictions, doesn't break any logical laws, and just
Well,
seems to be
that's
possible.
logic.
Is that what you're
That's
saying?
that's logically possible. Do you not know the distinction between logically possible and metaphysically possible?
I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say because you just said that if you conceive of something and you think that it could exist, like for example, a zombie or something like that,
I said a pea
um,
zombie. Maybe you learned to like track. But that's
got you. So, um, is there a reason why you have to
okay.
engage like this? I mean, I do remember
Yeah,
you, but is there a
because you
reason why
literally
you have
just
to
tried to
talk
get
like this?
yeah, you're the one that tried to get rhetorical first. Did you forget when like you tried like insulting a little bit back then? But now
Well,
it's
no,
like
no, I
that's
didn't. I wasn't insulting you. I was just pointing out that we were going
no,
to have
you
a
literally
conversation about Bayesian priors, and then you gave up on that conversation when you
yeah.
realized that I had some idea what I was talking about.
Yeah, okay. I'll stop using rhetoric, sure. I'll stop using rhetoric, but like maybe like track what I'm saying and like pay
You're
attention.
welcome to use rhetoric. I mean, I don't really care. I'm just saying, again, I think there's a difference between, something being a little rhetorical or something being funny or something being interesting and just kind of insulting somebody.
Yeah,
I
just
think it's
like
probably
pay
like a
attention and stay
difference,
off
right?
the meta, bro. Pay attention and stay off the meta, okay?
That's another one. There you go. There you go again, right? To quote Ronald Reagan, there you
Look,
go
look,
again
why do
with your
you why
insults.
are you so far on
You
the
can't
meta? Why are you
you can't help yourself. I didn't remove them. I don't even have the
I
power
th
to remove them.
okay. Okay, man. Okay. So cool. Maybe okay, do you know like what a P zombie is, right? I mean, I'm
So
assuming
let's
you do.
so let's go back to conceivability. So are when you say conceivability, is this kind of just like a seemings if something seems to be possible? If I
Yeah,
can't think of, like,
sure.
I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah.
If you can think of something obtaining in at least one possible world, then it's metaphysically possible. Like, you can't conceive or think of a square circle obtaining in any possible world, right? Because that'd be like a contradiction
Okay.
within Euclidean geometry, but it can still be expressed in
But I thought you
FOL
said we weren't
syntax.
talking about logical conceivability.
No. You don't think a square circle can be expressed in FOL syntax? It's only a contradiction if we presuppose the axioms of Euclidean geometry.
I don't know what that has to do with what I asked you.
A
I
square
brought up
circle,
contradictions,
yeah,
and
a
then you
square
told me we
circle.
weren't talking about contradictions, and then you just brought up
Oh my,
contradictions.
a square circle can be an
I'm just trying to
express.
understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, something which is logically possible usually just means it can be expressed within a formal system of logic. A square circle
Okay.
can be expressed within a formal system of logic. It only becomes a contradiction when we're presupposing the axioms of Euclidean geometry. Does that make sense to you?
Totally following that, but that's not what I asked you.
What are we asking me again?
The question was, because when I had brought up contradictions before, because I was going to ask you what you meant, an example that I was going to use is something that is like a married bachelor or something like that, whether or not you think that's metaphysically possible, if that would count as something that seems possible.
No, that's
And then
logically
you told me
impossible
that
because it can't be
you
expressed
told,
in
well,
FOL
well,
syntax.
hold on, wait a minute, don't just wait, just hold on. I promise I'll let you get there. And then you said, why are you bringing up contradictions? We're not talking about logical possibility. So I'm confused why you rebuked me for bringing up logical contradictions when you just did the same thing to explain metaphysical
Yeah,
contradictions.
well, usually, well, just to be extremely clear, I've already showed you that like a square circle would be logically possible because it can be expressed with an FOL syntax. You have the ability to like track the conversation. I said it's only going to be a
Well, yeah,
contradiction when we
what does
presuppose
that
the
have to
axioms
do
within
with what I
Euclidean
just
geometry.
asked you? I
Oh my
understand
God.
that the
Yeah,
contradiction of a
because a
square
square
circle
circle,
relies on presuppositions about geometry. It's not what I asked you.
yeah, because a
You
square
you
circle,
say that I'm not tracking the
oh my God.
conversation, but you're not tracking what I'm asking you,
You
and you're
like
also not
stop trying to do
answering
this
me.
like low tier rhetoric because you're getting like curb stomped on the
Why
substance.
aren't you answering me?
You thought a square circle couldn't be
Why are you
expressed in
not
FOL
answering me?
syntax and you didn't know it was logically possible. So now you're like trying to backtrack.
Why are you not answering me?
Yeah, so the
Why is
reason,
it that when I
yeah,
asked you
just
about
calm down.
metaphysical
Yeah, so calm
possibility
down.
and brought up contradictions,
Yeah,
you said that we weren't
because,
talking about
yeah,
logical
calm down.
contradictions, and then you
Yeah,
immediately brought up logical
because a
contradictions?
square circle isn't a contradiction unless we presuppose the axioms of Euclidean geometry. Learn to like track. So let me explain this to you, right?
That's
And
not relevant to what I asked you.
the distinction would be is because a married bachelor can't be expressed with an FOL syntax, right? Because that's a P in conjunction with its negation. But a square circle can be expressed in FOL syntax because you can say there exists X such that T of X and S of X. Does that make sense to you?
I followed it. Can you answer my question?
Oh my God, that's literally the distinction. Because a square circle isn't a contradiction. It's only a contradiction when we presuppose axiom Euclidean geometry. Based upon what we
Let me
mean
try
when we
this
say
again.
square and circle.
Let me try this again. When we're conceiving of something as metaphysically possible, you're saying it's not some kind of strict logical possibility because that has to do with a contradiction that isn't necessarily reliant on some axiom, but just a plain contradiction. That's the distinction. But when I gave the example of a square circle, it wasn't to show that a square circle is always contradictory regardless of axioms. That wasn't the point that I was bringing up. The point that I was bringing up was just to ask you whether or not metaphysical conceptions, if they are contradictory under any account of what a contradiction is, if something is not metaphysically conceivable, if that's true. So is a square circle, on your view, metaphysically possible, even if you think it's logically impossible given certain axioms?
No.
Okay, so a square circle is not metaphysically possible.
No, it's not metaphysically possible.
Okay, I'd like to understand why it's not.
Yeah, just based. Yeah, because anything which is like logically impossible, it would also follow through all the modal scopes. So if something is logically impossible, it's also nomologically impossible. It's also metaphysically impossible. It's also
But
technologically
isn't it
impossible
only
because it's the
logically
highest scope.
impossible if we assume those precepts of Euclidean geometry that you keep telling me about?
Yeah, it's only a contradiction if we have Euclidean geometry and the axiom of Euclidean geometry. But
So
like,
then how does that satisfy the idea that something is metaphysically impossible if it's logically impossible, if it's only logically impossible under certain logics?
do you think Euclidean geometry is a system of logic?
That's not what I just said.
That's literally what you just said. You said it can be expressed
No, it's
as a
not.
system of logic. Yeah, that's literally what you just said. You
That
just
is
said
not what I
Euclidean
said.
geometry is a
I've
system.
actually
You
I've been
literally just said
speaking
Euclidean
very,
geometry is
very
a system of logic.
precisely to
You
avoid you
literally just
doing
blundered there.
exactly
No,
this,
you
because I
literally
know
just blundered right there.
when the
You look
conversation
terrible right
isn't
now. You're
going
gonna
well
blum
for
that
you,
out
you
loud.
have to
You're gonna
pick out
embarrass
some
yourself
irrelevant
horribly.
part of my
That's literally
discussion
what you just did.
and start pretending I said something I didn't.
That's
I'd
literally
like for
what
you
you
to
just
answer
said.
the question. Are
That's
you
literally
capable of
exactly what you
answering
just
the
said.
question?
That's literally exactly
Can
what you
you
just
answer the
said.
question?
Yeah, that's literally exactly.
Can
Okay,
you
yeah. So
answer the question?
obviously, when we're saying square circle, I'm obviously guessing we're presupposing our colloquial semantics. Do you know what a colloquial semantic is, Lotier? Or do I need to explain that to you?
If you understood that there was a presupposition of colloquial semantics, then why in the world did you
Oh,
rebuke me for talking about the contradiction metaphysically of circles with the
because
assumption of Euclidean geometry with logical contradictions? Why in the world did you rebuke me and then immediately agree that that's a nice normative, or that's a fair normative assumption?
yeah, because it can be. Oh my God. Let me explain this to you. A square circle, if we just mean square and circle, not presupposing axioms Euclidean geometry are colloquial semantics of what a square or circle is, it can be expressed in FOL syntax, therefore it's logically possible. But if we apply the axioms Euclidean geometry and it can't be expressed anymore because then it'd be a P in conjunction with its negation in the same sense of respect, therefore it'd be logically impossible. That would be the distinguishing.
Yeah, you have this habit of just repeating yourself. I didn't address anything that I just asked you. Not a single bit of it.
Can you prove that? Wait, hold up. Can you prove that though?
I didn't ask
Wait,
you
prove
to
that. Wait, prove
repeat
that. Wait,
what
hold
you
up.
had
Prove
said
that. Wait,
about
can
the
you prove that though?
difference between
Wait, can you prove
you're
that?
literally
Wait, can
interrupting
you
me
prove that's
as
not
I'm
an
answering
answer?
your question. Are you unable to be quiet? You
Okay.
just gave another explanation of the difference between logical impossibility according to an axiom and broader logical impossibility. You just gave a distinction between those two things. But earlier on in the conversation, when I said that something was metaphysically impossible because it broke some logical assumption, right, such as contradictions or false, you said that's ridiculous because only some logic systems say that that's not true. So you're willing to accept your normative colloquial
Some
understanding when
logical
it's convenient
systems.
for you, and you're, hold on, wait a minute, stop talking. Nobody asked you. I was in the middle of saying something.
Wait, hold up. Do you think
You're
FOL
allowed to do
syntax
that.
uses?
You're allowed to sue. No, I'm not going to hold up. Be quiet. Stop.
Are you just not going to
You
answer the
said that I
question?
couldn't use you said that I couldn't use a colloquial understanding of metaphysical impossibility, which refers to particular logical contradictions, like the ones that presume Euclidean geometry in the case of a square circle. But then you did the exact same thing 10 minutes later and told me that I was dumb for not understanding the point that you told me that I was dumb for making.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Can we get to like the actual debate though, or
It
no?
is
Or you just want to stay
hilarious.
on the meta?
It's hilarious. It's hilarious that this is going so poorly for you.
Okay, cool. Can we get to like? Can we get off the meta and go to the actual conversation, or no?
This is not a meta conversation. I'm talking
Can we
about the
get off the meta?
discussion.
Can we get off the meta,
This
or
is
no?
about the discussion.
Okay, so let me explain this, right? Would
This
you
is about
agree?
no. Hold
Would
on, wait
you
a minute.
agree? Wait,
This is
hold up.
about the discussion. What about what
Okay,
I said
cool.
isn't related to the discussion about metaphysical
Okay,
impossibility and logical impossibility?
okay,
What about what I said isn't related to that?
okay, cool, cool. Just like stop spreading it
What
out. Let me
about
ask
what I
you.
said isn't related to
Would
that?
you
Stop saying
agree?
cool. Stop with your canned responses. You're like a Skyrim NPC. Stop with the robotic responses.
Bro, stop
Engage
trying
with
to get
me.
rhetorical. You're like
What about
24.
what
You're like
about
24
what I
trying to get
said?
rhetorical. You look terrible.
What about what I said wasn't related to what you were talking about? The actual dialogue about
Yeah, we
metaphysical
can.
versus logical impossibility.
Yep.
What about what I said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
conflated categories. You're pretty much treating metaphysical possibility and logical possibility to pretty much be the exact same thing. And I'm creating a
No, I
distinction
didn't.
between the two. Let's hear.
I
Okay, so we're
already
gonna go back.
understand your
We're gonna
distinction.
go
I
off the meta.
never said they were the same thing. Stop misrepresenting what I
Can we
said.
get off the meta or
I
no?
did not say they were the same thing. I
Can we get
said
off the meta or no?
colloquially, which you already conceded to. I'm talking about the debate. Things you don't like are not meta. That's not what the word meta conversation means. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's a meta conversation. You said that there was a distinction between metaphysical impossibility and logical impossibility. I totally agree with that. My question was, when I brought up something that was metaphysically impossible, under the colloquial understanding of the entailment of a logical impossibility, a square circle, you started laughing and said that I was an ignoramus. And then you did the exact same thing 10 minutes later. So my question for you, again, on topic, not off topic, not meta conversation. Do
Yeah,
you
can you just
retract the
yeah,
idea
can
that
you
it was
pull up the
ridiculous
clip?
for me to
Wait, can
assume
you
the
wait, where's
colloquial
the clip?
entailment?
Wait, where's the clip?
Do
Wait,
you
where's the clip?
retract that it
Wait,
was
hold up.
ridiculous
Where's
for
the
you to say
clip?
that?
Wait, hold up. Where's the clip of me
Dude,
saying that, bro? Do you have the clip?
nobody's clipping anything.
Wait,
Dude,
where's the clip?
would you
Where's
please,
the
for the
clip?
love of God, go
I never
outside?
said that. Where's the clip? I never said that once. Where's the clip? All I said was a square
This is
circle can be
you
expressed.
must spend
Bro,
like all your
bro,
time on TikTok, dude. What is going on?
Stop it
Where's
for a
the
second.
clip?
Stop it for a second.
You said
Stop it.
it. You
Bro,
made those
stop it for a
arguments.
second.
Don't tell
Stop
me to
speaking. I literally
stop.
let
You're
you
not
speak
going to
for like 30
control the
minutes in a row. You're like
conversation.
25, bro. Like, oh my God, let me speak. You've been
You're
speaking
not
for
going
like
to
10 minutes.
control the
Let
conversation.
me
You're not
let
going to tell me
me
to stop, so you
let
can
me
repeat the same
clarify
thing
this
you
for you.
said over and
Let
over
me
again. I'm
clarify
not
this for you.
interested in it, dude.
Oh
I'm
my
not
God, let me
interested in it.
clarify this for you.
Do you or do
Just
you
to
not
be
want to engage with the
extremely
question that
clear.
I asked you?
I
You're
said,
very good at not
oh
answering
my God.
questions.
Oh
Do
my
you
God.
want to answer the question?
Dude, all
You don't
you've
want
been
to answer the
doing is
question.
asking me question after
You're
question.
gonna
I
need God
answer,
in a
and then you
minute
go
here.
back to the 5 minute. You're like Kojo, bro. You're like Kojo 2.0. Every single time you ask me a
Nobody cares
question,
about your
I
niche
answer,
internet
and then you go to like
references,
a
dude. Would you just
5 minute
answer my question?
manifestation arc. Like, let me ask you a
Are you
question.
not going to answer my
Would you
question?
agree? Okay,
Host, can you make him answer
okay.
my question?
Oh my God. Okay,
He's
yeah, I
not even
never said
engaging
that.
with what I'm
You're
saying.
literally
He just
confused in the
he
statement.
just wants
You're
to
lost in
rant
the
about
rhetorical
something
maze.
else.
Yeah, you're lost in the rhetorical maze.
What are you
Anyways,
saying that you didn't say?
okay, yeah, I never said, just to be extremely clear, I never said that square circles are logically possible. All I said is they can be expressed
Oh
within
my
a
gosh,
system
just to
of
be
formal logic.
extremely clear,
Oh my God.
here's something just to be extremely clear about. I never accused you of that.
Yeah, you accused me of
You don't even
when you
understand.
said, yeah, okay,
You
do you want
keep
me to,
saying that I'm not
are you going
following the
back up?
conversation. You're
Yeah, another
lost.
10 minutes?
You're lost into the
Yeah,
woods,
another 10
dude.
minutes of you
You're
speaking.
nowhere.
Another 10 minutes of you like manifesting. It's okay, bro. Just let me speak. So obviously, under our colloquial semantics of something which is logically possible, X is logically possible if and only if it can be expressed within a formal system. Would you agree with this? Anything which is has the ability to be expressed in a formal system is logically possible. Yes or no?
Brother, and I mean this sincerely, you have to answer my question.
Oh
You are
my God.
very, very good at evading
I've answered
answering
the question
questions
20
because
times. I've answered the question 20 times.
you lead it up with a bunch of stuff and then you
I've
ask a
answered
different
the question
question in
20 times.
response.
I've answered the question
I'm
20.
not asking
Wait, hold up.
I'm
Can
not
you just
answering a
try to repeat
single
my
one of your
answer? Can you
questions.
try to repeat my answer? Can you try to repeat my answer?
I'm not
Yeah, can you
asking
try to repeat the
I'm
answer
not
I've given
answering
20
a
times?
single one of your questions. I can't repeat what you didn't give. You didn't give an
Wait,
answer.
hold up. So I did give an answer over like 10
You
times. You're
went
just
on a
not tracking.
tangent about something else.
You're
You did
okay,
not.
wait, just to
What
be
was the
clear.
question?
Wait,
What
just
was
to
the
be clear.
question? What was the question you think I asked you?
Yeah, because you pretty much said, why is it the case that I pretty much called you a fool for saying that like a square circle is logically impossible? That's what you're going on. You said, well, then I backtracked and then I actually took that statement back.
That was not the question.
That's literally exactly what you said.
I didn't ask you to tell me that. I didn't ask you anything about my claim that it was logically impossible. I didn't say that. That's not true.
Okay, what'd you say then? Go ahead.
At the beginning of the conversation, when we talked about metaphysical conceivability, what is possible metaphysically, when I said that at the very beginning, I said an example of something that is a contradiction is a square circle. You then freaked out and started lurching at me saying, that's ridiculous. Don't you know that that relies on certain axioms in Euclidean geometry for it to be a contradiction? And I said, okay, fair enough. It does rely on those axioms, but those axioms are fair enough to assume. The conversation then continued. You then, when I asked you about what was logically impossible, gave the example, or excuse me, metaphysically impossible, gave the example of a square circle and said, it is metaphysically impossible if we assume those axioms. You did exactly what you decried me doing 10 minutes later, and then when I called you out for it, you started whining and complaining about how you want to be able to talk and not answer the question. So I want to hear why you did that. I want to understand that.
Okay, so the distinction would be because square circles are completely logically possible if our semantics of anything which is logically possible can be expressed within a formal system. A square circle is logically possible because at least in FOL syntax, because FOL syntax doesn't use the axioms of Euclidean geometry. Therefore, a square circle within FOL would be
It's literally like talking to a wall. It's like talking to a wall. You have no ability to engage in what I'm saying. You're just repeating the distinction. I'm not asking you for the distinction, brother. Listen closely. I understand the distinction you've made between that which is metaphysically possible and, more keyly, logical possibility, considering an axiom or considering some presupposition or some supposition, versus the broader sense. I've heard it a million times. Please, for the love of God, stop repeating it. That's not the question I'm asking you. The question I'm asking you is not to make the distinction for the 50,000th time that I already knew. Why did you at the beginning say that it was unfair of me to assume a normative entailment of logical impossibility into metaphysical impossibility, and then do the exact same thing 10 minutes later and then start laughing like a maniac when I called you out for it?
Yeah, can you prove where I did the first thing? Do you have like that on record now?
Yeah, I mean,
Because
this
that's just like a
conversation's over.
passive
You're a
claim.
joke.
Can you prove that?
You
literally just
are a
capping.
joke, and it's
You're
embarrassing.
literally just capping. You're capping. Can you prove that?
Everyone
Wait, can
who
you
was
prove
here from
that,
the
bro?
beginning of this conversation saw
Yeah,
that
we
happen.
can. Yeah, sure.
At this point, you've been roasted and toasted so bad that you have to find a way to get out of the conversation.
You're like 25,
The conversation's
by the way.
over.
You're like 25.
Host, this is ridiculous. He's not going to
Wait,
answer
hold
my
on.
questions. I'm
Did
done
I
with this
not
guy.
ask for the wait? Just to be clear, did I not ask for the rec like 10 minutes ago? And I say, hey, give me the rec and where I said that. Because
Nobody is
obviously I didn't say
recording.
that.
Hey,
Where's the rec?
Boars was
Where's
recording the
the rec?
conversation. Let's
Where's
ask
the rec?
Boars. Let's ask
Okay, show me the
Boars.
clip. Hold on,
Boars
show me the
has a
clip.
recording of the conversation.
I bet.
Boars,
Show me the clip.
did he or did he not at the beginning of this conversation freak out at me for claiming that a square circle was a metaphysical contradiction, because it assumes a logical contradiction, but only a logical contradiction under a particular Euclidean geometry system? And then didn't he do the exact same thing where he said that was the case? Dude, relax. Why are you yelling over me? Just relax. Calm down.
I'm literally the one that put up
And then after that conversation finished, you then made that exact same example and then freaked out at me when I pointed out the inconsistency and said, do you even know what normative colloquialism or whatever you said, colloquial something or whatever?
You didn't even know what Euclidean geometry was until I told you what it was. So saying that you brought up, oh, it's only a logical contradiction.
I never said that I didn't know it. Why? Okay, you accuse me of lying. That's not true. I never said that I didn't know what Euclidean geometry was. I never said that.
Okay. So wait, hold up.
We can go back into that conversation.
Wait, hold up.
We can go back into that conversation. Never in that conversation did I say anything about whether I knew or didn't know Euclidean geometry. What are you typing? What are you looking up? Are you asking Shake Google for advice or something?
I'm not asking Google anything, you loads here. So just to be clear, you're literally
what are you
right now, and you're
what are you typing?
Lying. Because you never said, just to be extremely clear, you never said that something is logical.
You always like to be extremely clear. That's like a tick that you say before you're about to lie.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Now you're making fun. Cool. You're like, look terrible right now. Just to be clear, just to be extremely clear.
What are you talking about? You just keep saying, let me be very clear, and then you are not either clear or say things that are true.
You won't let me speak.
Let me be clear. It's like you're Barack Obama. Let me be clear. Let me be very clear. It's like, oh my gosh, would you relax?
You're 24. Christian, you're 24. You're like 24. Trying to get rhetorical.
I'm actually 23. You're close. I'm not 24. I'm 23.
Yeah, okay, cool. That makes that any better. You're 23 and you don't know the basics of mathematics. You're terrible right now.
It does, yeah. I'm 1 year away from being 24. Don't make me older than I am. I want to still be a young man, you know.
Okay. Like, bro, right back to the manifestation. It's okay, man. Right back to the issue is, and this is how like everybody.
It's not manifestation. They're just laughing at you.
Oh my God, you're right back to speaking. This is how we know you were lying. This is literally how we know you're lying.
What are you talking about? You know that I'm lying because people are laughing at you?
Oh my God, that's not what I meant when I said that. Stop going to the meta because you know you're about to get called out. The reason you don't want me to finish my sentence is because you know you lied and you don't want to admit you lied.
I'm going to let you finish the sentence and then I'm going to refute what you said. Go for it.
Okay, so the reason you lied is because you said since the beginning a square circle is only a contradiction if and only if we presuppose a set of axioms within Euclidean geometry. You never said that. In fact, I'm the one that brought up Euclidean geometry. You don't even know what Euclidean geometry is, and now you're
I didn't say that I brought up Euclidean geometry.
Can you name?
I never said that. I never said that I brought it up.
Can you tell me who coined Euclidean?
I never said that I brought it up, guys. We're not doing Where's Waldo with facts, buddy. I'm not your monkey. I'm not dancing for you. I'm not answering your random fact-finding questions.
Wait, hold up. You literally
Can I respond to what you said?
Wait, hold up.
Can I respond to what you said?
You did say.
Can I respond to what you said? Brother in Christ, well, not brother in Christ, brother in humanity, would you relax? Can I answer your question? Can I answer your
You
question?
just contradicted
Yes or no?
yourself.
Do you want me to
during
answer
intro.
it?
You literally just
Do
said,
you
wait,
or
hold
do
on,
you
just to
not
be
want me
clear.
to answer your
This is
question?
how embarrassing you are. Wait,
Host,
this is
can
how
you mute him?
embarrassing you are.
He's not
Because
going to
you
let me
literally just
answer his
contradicted yourself
question.
right there. Wait, hold
Okay.
on, you literally just
Host, I
contradicted
need you to
yourself.
moderate,
Wait, can I
buddy.
explain the
He's not going to
contradiction?
let me answer his
Wait,
question.
Hold up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to let me answer his question.
You can.
Right? Host, hold on, everyone.
Yeah.
Host. Wait a second. Just give me a second. Right? He claimed that I claimed that I'm the one who brought up Euclidean geometry. I never said that. I never said that I was the one who brought up Euclidean geometry. I said that when he made the clarification that logical contradictions like square circles are only logically contradictory under Euclidean geometry axioms, I said, fair enough. That sounds right to me. I would imagine that's the case. I never said that I brought it up. I just conceded to that point and said, fair enough. But again, my claim was never that I brought up Euclidean geometry. I recognize, of course, that some things are only contradictions under certain suppositions. Some things are only contradictory if we assume certain things. I get that's true. I think it's fair to assume that square circles are contradictory because most people assume those axioms that would make them contradictory. That's what I was saying.
Who coined
Hi,
Euclidean
buddy.
geometry? Who coined it? Yeah, who?
I never said
Coined
that I knew
Euclidean
about Euclidean geometry. That's
straw
not true.
man.
Wait, hold
Straw
up.
man.
Wait,
This
hold
is
up.
straw
Wait,
man.
Boris, are you recording?
Hey,
Wait, hold
Boris,
up,
can you
Boris, are you
post the
recording?
clip? You
Wait,
post the
hold up,
clip?
Boris, are you recording? Oh, wait, hold up, Boris, are you recording
Here
that?
is what
Wait,
I
hold up,
said.
this-
Here is what I say. Can I respond to the guy? I
Hey,
mean, the
hey,
guy's. I
hey.
mean, he's like a little
Wait,
dog, like barking and
you just
yapping.
contradicted yourself. You
Bro,
literally just
What I
mute up,
said.
bro.
What I
Mute up,
said.
bro.
literally
Mute up
What
before
said
you
I
you know
drop.
said.
Euclidean
Before you
geometry.
drop,
You're
bro.
What can I respond to this guy? Can I respond to him?
Yeah, respond to him.
Okay, great. I said whether I do or do
Actually,
not know about Euclidean geometry is what I said. I didn't claim that I did know. I said that you were false to say that I didn't know or that I claimed that I didn't know. I never claimed to know anything in particular about Euclidean geometry. That's not true. And if you watch the tape back, you'll see that.
You literally did say you know Euclidean geometry. I said you don't even know Euclidean geometry until I started bringing it up, and you said no, I do know Euclidean geometry. The only reason you did that is because
I
you're
did
just
not say
mimicking
that.
what I say.
I know
You're
for
just
a fact
mimicking
that
what
I
I
didn't
say.
say that.
You're mimicking what
I
you're
know
just
for a
literally
fact I didn't say
mimicking
that.
what I say because you're getting so blown the hell out on substance.
Yeah, he's getting blown out of
Bro.
substance. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Christian,
Yeah, I'm
wait,
just
wait,
gonna
wait.
Blowing
ask
you out of
someone else.
substance?